All right, perfect. So we are live on YouTube with our coach today, and we'll just quickly wait for people to join in and get this amazing session started because I'm pretty excited to get to know a lot of things from your coach. Because we already had a session with you on Instagram, and I was not there at the time, but I did see the recording of it, which was pretty great. The session was very insightful. So I'll just start with the first question, anyhow, and we have people joining in by then. And just in case they aren't able to see it right now, the video will also go live on YouTube itself. So, Coach, my question to you is you yourself started your journey as an intern in your professional journey. So, I know that you think that internships are pretty important, especially for freshers who are just joining in and have like quite a low experience. So, do you think that internships are still very relevant and important to get into the field of data science? And if that is the case, could you also tell us what are the platforms which are ideal to search for these internships?
Yeah, so there's no such thing as an ideal platform. Wherever you can get your resume, get started with it. I think that would be my suggestion. Internship, yes, are definitely useful to get your career started because number one, it gives you an avenue and it shows you what the real world is. It is a lot more different than the academics. Second, it sets your networking ball rolling for the first time because that is very important. So especially for freshers, if you can just right away, if you're in your or people who are graduating just in your final years, third years, if you can get started with internship, that is also very good. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, are there like any platforms where they can, search for internships and hopefully even get those internships?
I think college placement cell also might be one, like the institute where you are learning your courses. That is one. Second, there is Naukri.com, there's Angel List, then there is Monster. So there are many such platforms. Also, LinkedIn, also people do put their resume on it and just highlight your profile. So reach out to as many people as you can and like there are many platforms, so pick all of them, pick any two or three of them, whatever goes well with you.
All right, okay, and I guess students can even do their research online because they'll probably get a lot of options on Google. All right, coach. So, we know that programming languages are of the essence when it comes to data science. But are there any languages which you would personally recommend? Because I've heard quite a lot of people say that Python is the go-to language, and I've heard quite a few saying SQL is something that you should know. So, are there any languages that you recommend?
I think these are languages which are tools. So data scientist has to get hold of the data and analyze the data. So depending upon what format it is stored in, you might have to understand each of them. So you'll have to know SQL, you'll have to know Python. There's no way around it at the moment. However, freewares are coming up in future. It might happen that you can get across these programming languages and still be able to work with data science. But for now, at least for the current situation is concerned, I think you'll have to get your hands dirty on any of these programming languages. Just remember that if you are going into pure data science, it's not the programming that's the most important thing. Programming has to be there. It's like a tool that you'll use to analyze the data. So just keep that focus in the mind. Like for example, you don't need to develop a video game using Python. You have to just get the data from the Python.
Okay. Okay. And at this point, I just want to remind our viewers and anybody who's joining in that if you have any questions for our coach, feel free to ask them because I'm pretty sure he's going to give you a very clear and concise answer, and all your doubts and queries would be resolved. All right, coach. So, talking about the field of data science, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of career aspects when we talk about data science. So, could you tell us maybe a few career prospects which somebody who's starting their career in the field of data science might get into?
Yeah, so there are three levels of variety. So number one is your job role. So that can be data analyst, machine learning engineer, data scientist, or any one of those. Second level of variance comes from the type of company that is selecting you, either a startup, mid-level service company, or a product company. Then third level of variance comes from the domain. So whether it is for pharma, healthcare, or banking and finance, or e-commerce, basically, or retail side. So depending upon the combinations of all of these, your profile actually, or the kind of task that you do, your skills will have to vary. So for a fresher, you should have idea of something in each of these combinations, and you should be master of at least one or two things. So let's say you have a very good hands-on directly in heavy machinery industry. Now for someone who comes from a graduate mechanical engineer, then you can focus on those area where data science is applied, and you can say you are open to work in other domains. That's how you can start your journey. Now data analyst versus data scientist versus machine learning engineer, how do these differ basically? So a data analyst is supposed to fetch the data from the databases. So let's say you have questions from the business team as to what was my revenue last year, what was my sales, whatever, and so I have a list of questions. Can you get me that data? So that is something what a data analyst will have to do. Either get the data one time or make it a real time so that each time it is automated. Okay, so that is kind of a role a data analyst will have to do. Also, not just get the data, but represent it in a better way. So that's where we have dashboards, Tableau or Power BI come into play. So it is not just the programming languages, but the visualization part also a data analyst have to go to. What a data scientist does is goes one step further than what a data analyst is. So let's say um, the business team wants to build some new features in their product. Okay, now the business team will throw a question to the data scientist. From the past data, can you tell me how much of the market will I be able to capture out? What is the impact on the customers that I'll be able to do? So the answers are not very straightforward. You'll have to see the recent trends. You'll have to do some time series forecasting there, what your general trend is. You'll have to figure out what happens if you add in some kind of variables, how the trend would differ, or the projects of these kind, or see if there's any similar kind of competitor data set that you have available. Do some prediction algorithms. So you'll have to do time series analysis, you'll have to do predictions, you'll have to do statistical models. So you'll have to select from all of those techniques that are available from the data science field, and you have to apply it to the business side. The catch here is no one is going to tell you in real life that you have to do the classification model or a regression model or whatever model. Okay, so that is the most difficult part a data scientist has to handle. He or she has to do whatever. So that is one thing. And then when it comes to specific profiles like machine learning engineer, the problem statement is more or less defined, but you have to be very good in your algorithms, and very good with the parameter tuning, and very good with the model building. So your model has to be very accurate there. So there you're going to think of how to train the model, how to build the best possible model, and how to deploy the model in the real time scenario. So deployment also has challenges from the software development lifecycle point of view. So that is what you'll have to keep in mind. Yeah. Any
Okay,
questions?
all right.
Yeah.
I guess we don't have any questions right now. People are coming
Right.
and going, but I think when the video is posted, we can always go to the comment section and take you up for another session. But
Sure.
coming back to the current section, coach, with big data coming up and everything revolving around data science evolving, do you think that every industry in today's time requires a data scientist to sort their data and actually derive meaning from it, or is it still something which is prevalent only in certain industries?
Big data, I think, is covering a lot more industries than it was before. So it's very rapidly covering all sorts of industries. However, I would say that it's not that every data scientist will have to work on big data, but big data will be a part of a data scientist role pretty soon. It would be something that everyone would have to know what big data does, because like almost I would say 80% of the companies in future would go into big data. That's
Okay.
really a lot. Yeah.
All right, all right. So, coach, now coming to the course aspect of Code Infinity and the course that we provide in data science. So, you are a mentor and a coach yourself with us. So, when it comes to students who are, just starting off their journey as a data scientist, what do you think are the hurdles that they usually face, and how do you think you as a mentor have, I'm pretty sure you have helped quite a lot of students already, so what kind of tips do you actually give them that this is something that they can do in order to get over the anxiety or any stress that they might have?
Yeah, I think most stressful or most difficult part, the hurdle I would say, is that you need an experienced person to get into as a data science role, or even data analyst, for example. Now, like a fresher does not have experience. Till the time there is no experience, what will the fresher do? So, will the fresher not work at all? So, this is a kind of vicious cycle freshers go into, and they feel that they'll never get a job. So, they get like kind of scared out of it, they get stressed out of it. So, yes, again, now internship comes as a very good solution over here. So be patient, have some internship, use that as your experience. Try to build experience from the internships, whether it is free, paid, stipend, or whatever it is, and then do some projects, help some people out in data science, and build your own projects from the free data sets that are available online, and then showcase your profile that yes, you can add value to the business. So your data science projects should be those which say that okay, I can add value to the business, because people who are going to hire you are not going to be technical managers always. They are going to be directly from business side, and they are going to say we need one data scientist to help us out. A company does not hire 500 or 1000 data scientists, unlike the mass scale recruitment for the other IT jobs. So just keep in mind that you'll be one or two out of the many people in that company. Though there are many data science jobs available across the globe, it's across the different companies. It's not in the same company. So you won't have many people to support you during the job. So then that makes the recruitment team think that I want someone who's experienced, who can solve real business problems without help. So that's why freshers need to keep in mind that they showcase their portfolio very good.
Okay. All right. So, do you think hackathons that we do during the course of the period the course is aligned with, they are also quite important, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
presenting your skills?
Yes, they're
They are.
very important. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, coach, my next question is: data science is a field which is growing rapidly, especially in today's time. So, do you think with that in mind, upskilling is something that data scientists need to do on a regular basis because the fear of becoming irrelevant is always persistent.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the way every day the freewares are changing, like the way Python, Pandas, NumPy, these are changing. The way sklearn is changing. I'm just giving you some examples, but the way things are shaping up, you'll have pretty soon in a few years' time where you'll have everything automated. So you just need to drag and drop the data and get your output and do everything with it. So in that case, what a data scientist have to do is upskill a lot and think of what other things that the data scientists need to do. Like for example, solving the business cases, understand something from the business domain, or understand something from the SDLC, software development lifecycle, and see how those models can be deployed. Because two challenges that will remain to the industry is number one, data is not going to be clean; it is going to be crap. So understanding that, realizing it, exploring it, that is something that you'll have to upskill while working on the job, because there's no any thumb rule to do it. it just comes out of experience. And second is deploying the machine learning models or data science models in real time. That is also a challenge that is going to be there in the near future. So upskilling yourself for that.
Okay, all right. So, coach, even during the interviews, you've told us already that the projects that you do are going to be of extreme importance, especially when you are a beginner. So, when it comes to the actual interview aspect of data science, what are the things that companies usually ask? What are the skills that they are looking for, and what are the trends that can get you employed, can get you that position that you are looking for?
Yeah. So I'll split the question into two parts. One is the technical questions around what they ask. So technical questions is more of how you did something, if you have done something in random forest, let's say, or in some algorithm. So they'll pick one or two algorithms, they'll go into details of those algorithms and see if you understand what the algorithm does, where it should be applied and when it should not be applied. Because it's very easy to implement an algorithm in data science, honestly, but it's very hard to interpret it very correctly. So interpreting it rightly, how the model performances are, how the model behaves, and what the hyperparameters mean, actually, I think is some example of what the interviewers are interested in. Then second part is actually more of soft skills, I would say, is how consistent or how reliable the candidate is in terms of giving out answers which he or she does not know. So, for example, if you do not know something, how confidently do you give a wrong answer? You should not do that. So, you should not confidently give out a wrong answer. It's okay to say you do not know, because if you do not know, your manager knows that you'll ask someone else for help instead of completing it in a wrong way. When you do a task in a wrong way in a company, it makes a huge difference and it's a big of a problem. So it's better to say I do not know how to do certain things rather than doing it wrongly. So that is also something an interviewer will check. And second thing, communication skills. So you have to, as a data scientist or a data analyst, you have to be very good at communication skills. I think it's a skill. It is not an art. So if you are very bad at it, it's just a matter of few months you'll be good at it. So, but take efforts to be very good at communication. There is just no way out. Even if you get a job, you will not be able to survive without communication skills.
All
And it's
right.
just a
Okay.
matter of a
So,
few months. I think if you just get through it, I think it should be good.
okay, that was a really great answer, and I'm pretty sure that anybody who is probably going to sit for an interview in the near future would definitely benefit from this, because the point where you said, if you don't know anything, just be straight up honest about it, is
Yeah.
something that many of us overlook, because we are more concerned about coming off as confident that even if we
Uh,
don't know, we'll do it. But it's good to know that you have to be very honest about these things,
yeah.
because even if you are not, then that could backfire in the future. All right,
Yeah.
coach. So now coming back to the course aspect of things. So we at Board Infinity, we also provide one-on-one mentoring sessions. So how do you think these sessions are beneficial, especially for students who are doing the course online? Because everything in today's time, especially, is in the online environment, and face-to-face conversation is something which is probably lacking. So, how do you think our one-on-one mentoring sessions make up for it?
I think it's very good because what happens is a solution that is applicable to one particular person is not applicable to another person. Now, for example, we talked about internships in general. What if you come up with some candidate who already has a 4 years of experience, is already working somewhere, has some kind of a CTC X, Y, Z, whatever? You would not recommend that person to leave that job and do an internship, right? I mean, that would be suicidal. So after that, what if he or she does not get data science job? What will he or she do? How will his or family survive? So everyone's questions are different, everyone's pace of learning is different, everyone has a different like problem in front of them. So based upon that, I think one-to-one counseling, one-to-one mentoring helps, so that you can align their study preparation timelines according to it. Now, if someone does not have any job in hand and wants to get to a job immediately, so the preparation plan for that person is very different, because he or she has really a lot of time to put effort for each and everything. For someone who is already working but would like to take it very slowly and get onto a job that takes him or her into a very good hike, will have a different preparation plan altogether.
All right, okay. And coach, how do you think mock interviews also help candidates? Does that give them
Yeah,
a better edge?
yeah, that will give them more better idea of what to expect in an interview. So interview is not going to be easy. It gives them an idea that you need to have more patience with the interview, I think. So it's interview attending an interview is more skill. I think that comes with practice as well, and also once you are very confident yourself first.
All right, okay. At this point, I'm just going to ask the viewers, whoever they are, if you have any questions, feel free to ask because we are almost towards the end of our session and the audience was not that interactive, which is a shame. But I think you were pretty clear and straightforward. So even if they had any questions, that would have been answered. So, coach, assuming that we get another question in a while, I'll still ask you the last question that I had for you. It's this that you are an experienced professional in this field yourself. You have quite a lot of years of experience with you, and you are probably a great person to ask this question to. What advice would you like to give to people who are, just entering this field? Because at this time, everything could be overwhelming for them. So, how do you think they should go on about things, and what would you advise them to do?
Yeah, thanks for calling me great, but I'm not the greatest person in this field, definitely. I mean, I also have really long way to go. But yes, I'll try to answer from my experience. A common mistake that people do is they think of data science as, okay, now I'll get a career hike or a pay hike. Okay, so you should not think of that as your focus point. So that is a byproduct. You have to understand that. So you have to understand that data science is being paid high. There is a reason why it is being paid high. So there will be some challenges that will come by. There's no free lunch concept anywhere in the world. Okay, so you have to understand why something is on the higher value. So with that challenge in mind, you should be mentally yourself very much prepared to take anything that comes on the way. That's the first thing. Second, you have to really like data science, and you have to understand the data science concepts very well, and focus on that part. Like people miss out on that, and people think that I know some concepts somewhere vaguely. Someone will take me a job in a job and will train me on the job. Nowadays, that does not happen. So we have had a very big paradigm shift where people are now recruiting experienced people or people who are capable and pay higher to them rather than picking up someone who's a junior and pay them lower and keep them on bond. So earlier, what used to happen is if I find some potential candidate who's just fresh graduate or young person, as an employer, I would pick him or her and I would say you have 1 year bond, 2 years bond, whatever, and I'll train you on the job, and then your salary would increase. Now it does not happen because neither employees are long term connected to that company nor the employers are sure of what the business scenario is going to be 2 years down the line. So they just want some professional who's from day two very active and giving out the results. So just keep in mind that that's why focus on understanding the data science very well. Second, be confident that you can, as a data scientist, bring out some value to the business team, and that's when I think you should be very good at the field.
All right, okay. So, one thing that I'm definitely taking away from this is that you need to love data science in order
Yeah.
to become a data scientist. All
Yes.
right, perfect. So, we still don't have any question, but I think this was quite a fruitful session because
Yeah.
we got to learn quite a lot of things, and every conversation, and I am going to call you somebody with a lot of experience. Even though you have a long way to go, you are still pretty experienced in this field. So it's always a pleasure to listen to such amazing people talk about their journey, and give advice to people who are just starting off. So coach, I think with that I'm going to wrap up this session. And
Sure.
even though we didn't get any questions, I am very thankful for the answers that you gave to the questions that I asked. So, again, thank you so much for being here with us, Coach, on a
Yeah.
Saturday evening and taking out the time to, impart your wisdom.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure to help people out. I have struggled a lot at that time. These platforms were not very much matured, any of these. And so I would like the future generations to struggle lesser than what I had at the initial phases. So that's my effort.
That's a great thing, I personally think. And once again, then thank you so much, Coach. And with that, we should wrap up this session. So once again, thank you so much, and thank you for everybody who is watching this live currently.
Okay. Yeah.